Welcome back to 301 Cents. So today's topic is the weekly fragrance rotation, and this was an interesting week. Had a couple of clones, a couple of things that I was trying out for the first time, and stay tuned to see which one got me the most compliments. So going in on Monday, I knew I was going to have a long day. It was inventory day, and that's just a lot of work. So I needed something that's going to last as long as what my day was going to be, and I went with the best fall designer that there is. And that's 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. I wear this a lot. I don't know if you can see the dent right now in this bottle. Of course, it's a fingerprint magnet, but yeah, you can see about a fifth is gone. So this fragrance to me is just so good. Now, you gotta like sweet fragrances, but that plum and honey combo is amazing. There's a little bit of freshness too. You know, it's not a fresh fragrance, but it's not like that sickly sweet. It has sweetness, it has a little bit of depth, it has a unique hazelnut accord to this that you definitely get some nuttiness, but it's really, really smooth. Of course, you get a little bit of that 1 million DNA in there that, you know, is sweet. You got a little bit of spice, but man, this is just fantastic. And it lasts a long time. Every time I wear this, I get compliments, and sure enough, on Monday, 2 different people said how much they loved how I smelled. And it always happens. Like this right here is probably my most complimented fragrance I've ever had, besides Club de Nuit Intense Man. I can't stand that. You know, that $25 Lemon Pledge cleaner. People love it. But going in on Monday, 1 Million Lucky. Going in on Tuesday, I was kind of in the mood for something a little bit fresher, and I went with something I haven't been able to wear a lot just because I'm a seasonal, situational kind of guy, but I went with Afnan's Rare Reef. So this is supposed to be a clone or a twist of Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill, and man, it's really, really good. Get a little bit of citrus, get a little bit of fruitiness. I believe it's apricot in this. It definitely has a little bit of that Middle Eastern flair where it's definitely got that spice a little bit more than, you know, Louis Vuitton Pacific Chill. But this is a fantastic fragrance, and it actually lasts a pretty good amount of time for being a fresh fragrance. Usually fresh fragrances for me only last 5 or 6 hours, at least 8 or 9. You know, I could smell it. It was performing pretty good for 2 to 4 hours, to the point where I knew that people could smell me as I walked past. But man, this is a really good fragrance for the money. And of course, it's not summertime, but when it gets back to summer, this is a fantastic option. Citrusy, fruity, musky, got a little bit of mint in there. Man, just overall, a really good fragrance. And the longer I have this, the more it smooths out. But man, instead of spending that $350, $400 on Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill, just get this. You get about 80 to 85% there, but man, fantastic fragrance. And that's Afnan's Rare Reef. So on Wednesday, I got this fragrance in about a week ago, and when I first sprayed it, I was like, man, this might be the worst blind buy I've ever had. It started off real screechy, real synthetic, and I was gonna do a blind buy first impressions video. My nose just shut down on me. Now, a couple days later, definitely smoothed out and got a little bit better, but what am I talking about? Rayhan's Elixir. So this is supposed to be a clone of JPG's Le Male Elixir. Now for me, I don't think it's all the way there. I think this is probably 75 to 80%, but this is a really good fragrance, but it's gotta sit. You gotta spray it. Man, at first spray, all I got was this screechy lavender note. And of course, lavender and cardamom is in that Le Male DNA, and of course, you got that powdery tonka bean iris combo that's in there. And I don't get a lot of tobacco with this fragrance, but it does remind me of Le Male Elixir. Is it as good? No, but it shouldn't be because it's only $30. Now, when I wore this and I sprayed, you know, away from my nose, and, you know, as the saying goes, spray away, smell all day. I could smell this for about 5 or 6 hours, which kind of stunned me because I don't think I was going nose blind to it. I only did 3 sprays just to see how strong this really was, because out the gate when you first spray this, it's pretty potent. I would not go up and do one of these because my nose shut down on me. But After, a couple of days, it settled out, and I wore this, and I did get a compliment on it. And to me, it's like that 75-80% there. It has that Le Male type DNA, and I'd say it's in between Le Male Le Parfum and Le Male Elixir. I get a little more like a mint chocolate vibe to this, but either way, it's a good fragrance for 30 bucks. But man, this was definitely a little potent when I got it, and it definitely needs to sit. So this one's probably going to sit a little bit longer, see if it does anything to this fragrance. So still unsure about how I feel about it, but it's definitely good for the money. And that's Rayhan's Elixir. On Thursday, I went out shopping with my mom, do a little bit early Christmas shopping for my kids, and went with one of my favorite purchases so far this year, at least over the last couple of months. I wore this last week twice, and I wore it again, Stronger With You Intensely. It is so good. This fragrance is sweet. It has cinnamon. It has a toffee note that it's not listed, but you get that clearly when you smell this fragrance. But it's just so good. This is warm, it's cozy, it's sweet. And yes, if you don't like sweet fragrances, you ain't gonna like this, but I think this could be worn by anybody. But man, this has become one of my favorite designer fragrances that's out there. And I see why people liked it. I need to stop hating on popular fragrances, because I didn't get this because of so many people saying how great it was, and I saw so many videos on it. I get it now. I just need to start liking and start getting what people recommend, because it's clearly really, really good. So on Thursday, Stronger With You Intensely. Going in on Friday, I went with one of my favorite niche brands, arguably the best niche brand to me, and that is Zaharoff's Signature Seraphim Musk. Gorgeous design, and I'm a big fan of leather in a fragrance. And this to me is light but fresh at the same time. It's dark, it has this animalic tone, but what you get when you first spray this on is this black leather. It's not in styling of ombre leather, but how you get that leather, this is a little bit more in charge here. It's not as mass appealing. And I get a lot of green notes to this fragrance. It's green, you have this black leather, get a little bit of spice, but then you get this musk. And I believe it's a deer musk, like a Tibetan musk, I believe it is. And it gets a little animalic. Now, I don't think this is the best performer, but then again, I only did 4 or 5 sprays to try this out. But man, if you like leather and you like musk, but you like it a little more untamed, man, this fragrance is so good. Like, you could wear this in summer. Now, I don't think you should wear it in summer, but every time I spray this, I am just reminded of how good perfumery can be, because like I said, it's fresh, but it's dark. It's got leather in there, and it's got this animalic musk, but it's fresh for what notes are actually in here. And like I said, I would not wear this in the summertime, but you could definitely do it. You could definitely pull this off. And someone's gonna walk past you going, what is he wearing? Because you ain't gonna smell like anybody else with this fragrance. And then something even cooler. I asked George to autograph the bottle just to see if he would, because honestly, he's on the bottle, right? So why wouldn't I want him to? And you can't really make it out, but you can see it. And that's what's so great about Zaharoff. He does anything for his customers and makes some of the best fragrances out there. On Friday, Zaharoff's Signature Seraphim Musk. So on Saturday, it was my birthday, turned 35, and how did I celebrate it? I wanted to, make my kids happy. We went to a pumpkin patch, and they had a really good time. We went to a new one. We go to a new one every year. And I wanted to try this fragrance out, and I wanted it to be a little bit colder before I did this. But man, was it stunning, regardless of the 75-degree heat. Maison Azrar's Muharram. The more I wear this, the more I fall in love with this fragrance. So it's supposed to smell like Naxos. I do not own Naxos, but my God, the atomizer you get a heavy dose, but it has this gorgeous lemon, warm citrus on the top. To me, it's a very high quality lavender. Smooths out. You get a little bit of, I think it's cashmere, some sort of woods in here, and that honey. And then the tobacco spice comes through. And when I was wearing this, like, all the bees were after me. Like, every single bee was trying to come after me. It's probably a dumb idea, right? Like, why are you gonna wear a fragrance with honey in it to a pumpkin patch? Well, I didn't expect it to be that warm, and man, this was just stunning in the heat. I can only imagine when it starts to get 50, 40 degrees all the time, this is a stunner. When I first got this, I was like, man, I don't know how much people are really gonna like this fragrance. But the more I wear it, the more I smell it, the more I am really digging this. And you gotta like that profile. Like I said, it's a warm citrus, lemon, lavender, and it's pretty potent, you know. You don't need a ton of sprays with this. I did maybe 4 sprays, but even from just the bottle design, you get this gorgeous frosted glass. I wore this, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and I wore it again. Like I said, the more I wear this, the more I love it. Warm citrus, tobacco spice, little sweet from some honey. What's not to like? That's Maison Esrar's Eau Harde. So going in on Sunday, I had to work, and I was just trying to wear something that was, you know, mass appealing, but something I haven't worn a lot, and man, this is a good performer. And it kind of stuns me every time I wear it. Liquid Broom, French Avenue. So for me, I've talked about this before with this fragrance. You get this orange blossom that's quite fresh when you first spray it on, and then within 5 to 10 minutes it starts to get sweet, and then it starts to get deep, it gets rich. For 30 bucks, this is a fantastic fragrance, but you gotta like sweet fragrances, because this thing gets sweeter and sweeter as the day goes, but it projects really well. And the performance, I mean, it lasts at least 8-9 hours for me, and I can only imagine, because like I just got this, I've not been able to wear it during the winter yet. So I can only imagine how good this is gonna be in the winter time, because I've only been able to really test this out in the fall. But vanilla, to me, you get some caramel in there. I don't know if caramel's in this, but it's vanilla, it's sweet. I believe it has a praline note, so it is gorgeous if you like sweet fragrances. If you don't like sweet fragrances, you ain't gonna like this. But this is a clone of a $400 fragrance, I believe it is. Maybe at discounters, it's probably $350. Just get this. This is good enough. What's to not like about this fragrance? Sweet, orange blossom, got that cozy, warm vibe to this. It's just really good. Liquid Broom, French Avenue. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. If you have a really good fragrance rotation, let's drop it down in there. And if you have a better fall fragrance than 1 Million Lucky, I'd like to hear it. Even if it's designer, if it's niche, if it's a clone. I need something to beat that, to dethrone it. So if you got something better than that, put it in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.